Our International Affairs Desk is Shirli Sitbon. Shirley, we've heard a little bit about it there and we've seen a glimpse of the welcome that he's being greeted with. But tell us a bit more about the main goal of this state visit.
Well, Donald Trump was invited to the UK for a number of reasons, and business is at the heart of this issue and this invitation, because we've been seeing a lot of uncertainty around the tariff issue, and the British hope that to seal some business deals and to bring the tariffs as low as possible. There was hope to get actually zero tariffs, a special deal for the UK, the special partner of the US for such a long time, to get them to zero for aluminum and steel. But apparently, according to recent reports, this potential deal was shelved a few hours before the visit. So basically, yes, the UK honoring Donald Trump with this historic second visit to any elected official. The U.S. president, of course, very honored by this, clearly enjoying this invitation and this honor. The British, the UK, the Prime Minister, the administration, everyone hoping also to get other types of deals, business deals, tech, nuclear plants being built on both sides of the ocean, and also defense, maintaining the alliance as strong as possible for the longest time, because we've seen some shifts on the U.S. side regarding the defense of Ukraine, regarding NATO, the U.S. trying to invest less, you can't depend, the Europeans can't depend on them as much as they used to. So the UK trying to keep the US in line with the European and the UK various strategies on defense, trying to stay as close as possible. Basically, yes, those are some of the objectives, but there are so many of those. For Donald Trump, of course, getting away a bit from the US, the divisiveness there, the criticism there. That's basically, also China is a major issue. The U.S. trying to get the Europeans and the UK away from China, trying to, it's a whole negotiation ongoing forever. Various, not just deals, but trade wars, various pressures. So the UK and the U.S. trying to get in line on this.
Meanwhile, Oliver's report there showed us a small glimpse of the protests taking place as Donald Trump arrived into the UK. But those protests, the British authorities doing everything to make sure that Trump himself doesn't see them.
Absolutely. He'll be kept as far away as possible from those protesters, and they will be kept far away from him. There's also massive security around everywhere he'll be. Some 1,600 officers will be deployed across London to deal with any potential protests. So yes, the UK is really trying to not just protect Donald Trump, not to irritate Donald Trump, but the goal is to meet all of their goals in this visit. They have a number of goals and they want to hit all of them in this historic moment. And also, the UK, the British Prime Minister, not just keeping Donald Trump away from protesters in the streets, but also in Parliament, staging and orchestrating this visit at a time where the lawmakers in the UK are not in Parliament. So Donald Trump will not get the opportunity to talk to them, and they will not get the opportunity to criticize him and his policies, not just his person, but his policies on the environment, on the economy, on defense, on the ICE, massive deportations from the US, various things they could have told him, but they will not tell him because they will not be in Parliament and he won't be there either. So yes, that's basically on that level.
So looking for a calm visit. Most recent protests in the UK, though, we saw last weekend massive anti-immigration protests. The far right in the UK saying it's encouraged by the polarised debate in the United States and in fact suggesting that it is getting backing from the administration.
Absolutely. That's one protest that Donald Trump does like to see. He won't see it during this visit, but he saw it over the weekend and it was all over social media. And he saw his name probably there and the names of various U.S., not just leaders, but the name of Charlie Kirk, the man who was, who had such a huge influence, was murdered. And the people in the U.S., the protests, far-right protests, anti-immigration protesters, they felt great anger by this. And, there's a mixed feeling with these protesters because they feel strengthened by the fact that so many people, their ideology is being strengthened and heard in the U.S., at the same time being angered when they see political violence. And with the U.S. administration, saying that the political violence comes from one side, when of course it comes from all sides. But the Trump administration has said that it's all coming from the left, the far left, and this has strengthened those anti-immigration protesters in the UK. And yes, they're being protected because the US has criticized the UK, saying that free speech is being threatened there. Now, that's one point where actually anti-Trump protesters could agree with Trump, because they said that in recent protests, for example, against the war in Gaza, the UK has arrested a number of people protesting. And, you know, those who criticize the UK strategy and the war in Gaza feel that that is actually an assault on free speech. So on some points, they can actually come together with the US. But Donald Trump was not talking about those protesters, of course.
Of course. Shirli Sitbon, thanks a lot for that.